What's going on, guys? It's Jimmy here. Welcome to our daily show where we discuss everything going on here in our country, in Washington, D.C., and everything you need to know about on a daily basis. Money, investing, the stock market, the fourth stimulus package update, stimulus checks, everything going on here. If you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure to click the subscribe button right now. It's completely free to do so you don't miss out on new videos that come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll keep you up to date here with everything. Remember that new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Also, thank you so much for hitting the like button for us down below. You are amazing. We got a lot to talk about here today. We're going to talk about how the adult tax credit could be expanded into monthly checks like the child tax credit. We're going to talk about that in this video, as well as how much the Super Bowl cost. Yeah, that's expensive. As well as an update on, well, we got a lot to talk about here today. Let's just jump right in. Yeah, you're not going to believe how much the Super Bowl cost this year or can cost this year. Check this out.
Set to become the most expensive Super Bowl ever. Here's CNBC's Seema Modi on the big bucks people are spending.
Play along. You've just inherited an insane amount of money, or your startup just valued at $3 billion. Let's go to the Super Bowl in Los Angeles. Prices are down, but the average ticket, $7,500 according to TickPick. But for the VIP experience with a personal bartender, security, well, that will set you back as much as $100,000. With the big game being hosted in Hollywood's backyard, expect all the celebs to show up. Justin Bieber, he hits the stage tonight, followed by Drake on Saturday. You can't miss that, right? So you and your friends will be plunking down $30,000 to $100,000 for a table with bottle service. Navigating the city this weekend, LAPD expects longer wait times, encouraging people to take mass transit. If you insist on driving, car rental agencies we spoke to are running on low inventory, but you're not going to take a bus. Money is no issue, so you rent a Lamborghini from online sites like Turo. That's only $1,000 per day. As for lodging, most Airbnbs and hotels around LA are close to selling out. Average hotel room costs $445, the second highest in Super Bowl history. Or you can opt for this, a 100-foot yacht and bask in the California sun, a mere $12,500 a day. Grand total for your dream weekend, $248,000. But hey, live it up. You deserve it. Now, no matter how much money you roll up with to this Super Bowl, there's no buying your way out of the intense security. We're talking U.S. military, Homeland Security working alongside local police. One cop telling me they've brought in additional dogs from different parts of the country, Shep, to help with screening on Sunday.
If you submit that expense report, it was nice knowing you. Seema, thank you.
Yeah, must be nice, right? Must be nice. Yeah, so, yeah, that's all I can say here. Here is U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan. We have reports now that Russia could invade Ukraine as early as Wednesday. That's right. Here is the latest. Check this out.
You said Friday afternoon that all Americans in Ukraine should get out within 24 to 48 hours. That 48 hours is almost up. Do you anticipate this invasion could happen as soon as tomorrow? And what can you tell us about reports that U.S. intelligence believes Russia is considering Wednesday for an attack?
Well, Jake, we cannot perfectly predict the day, but we have now been saying for some time that we are in the window and an invasion could begin, a major military action could begin by Russia in Ukraine any day now. That includes this coming week before the end of the Olympics. Of course, it could take place after the end of the Olympics, or it is still possible, we believe, that Russia could choose the diplomatic path. But the way they have built up their forces, the way they have maneuvered things in place, makes it a distinct possibility that there will be major military action very soon. And we are prepared to continue to work on diplomacy, but we are also prepared to respond in a united and decisive way with our allies and partners should Russia proceed.
You've been warning about a Russian invasion of Ukraine since early November. That's 3 months ago. It does seem as though something has changed in the last few days. You and your colleagues seem more alarmed than ever. What specifically have you learned in the last few days to prompt such urgent warnings? And do you now believe a Russian invasion of Ukraine is more likely than not?
Well, when we began, excuse me, when we began warning about a possible Russian invasion of Ukraine in November, we were pinpointing sometime after the turn of the year, sometime in the January or February timeframe. So what we watched then happen over the course of November, December, January, was the buildup of Russian forces in both Russia itself and in Belarus, which is the country that borders Ukraine to the north. And what we've seen just in the last 10 days or so is an acceleration of that buildup and the movement of Russian forces of all varieties closer to the border with Ukraine in a position where they could launch a military action very, very rapidly. That is also consistent with the information we're picking up from a variety of sources. I'm not going to handicap what will happen. I cannot sit here today and predict. What I can do is make sure we are prepared, and we are prepared. We are prepared to respond immediately and decisively, flanked by our allies and partners if Russia moves forward. We will defend NATO territory, we will impose costs on Russia, and we will ensure that we emerge from this as the West stronger, more determined, more purposeful than we have been in 30 years, and that Russia ultimately suffers a significant strategic cost for military action.
You've been warning about the Russians using a false flag operation to justify invading Ukraine. That's a strong claim to make without presenting a shred of evidence. Is there anything more you can tell the public, a public that might be justifiably rather skeptical of claims about intelligence?
Well, let me make 3 points on this. First, we're not putting forward this intelligence to start a war, which has happened in the past, Jake. We are putting forward this intelligence to stop a war. And I think that fundamentally gives it, at the outset, a different level of credibility. Secondly, this is consistent with the Russian playbook. We have seen them do this before many times. You ask any Russia expert, they will point to examples of where Russia has used false flag operations as pretext to start military action. And then third, if you look at the Russian media, they are laying the groundwork for a potential pretext by raising the possibility of attacks by Ukrainian forces on either Russians themselves or Russia's proxy forces in the Donbass. And then finally, what we have said is stood at the podium and shared with our allies that we have information that we have gathered through intelligence that indicates that there is active planning for this. And it's not just the United States saying it. We have our NATO allies stepping out and saying it as well, because they've been able to review that intelligence, assess its credibility, and reach the same conclusion we have reached. So I do think the world should be prepared for Russia staging a pretext and then launching a potential military action.
Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here in the comments. Looks like it could be a major week up ahead. I will keep you up to date. Meanwhile, Senator Bernie Sanders is calling on the Senate to bring up lowering prescription drug pricing, bringing up to actually call and vote on a bill in the Senate, potentially a standalone bill to go ahead and do this. Senator Bernie Sanders is urging them to do this, along with 40 fellow House Democrats pushing for action to lower the cost of prescription drug pricing. Senator Bernie Sanders called on Senate Democrats to vote on legislation to lower the cost of prescription drugs while criticizing what he said was a lack of action on the issue. Quote, "We're voting on an assistant secretary of something." Okay. The American people are not staying up nights worrying about that. They're worrying about prescription drugs. They're worried about climate. What I believe we have to do now is take the components of Build Back Better, starting with prescription drugs, bring it to the floor, start debate, and we'll see where we go. Prescription drug legislation backed by Senator Bernie Sanders would face an uphill climb to passage given widespread Republican opposition to the more sweeping drug pricing measures and the 60-vote threshold needing for to pass. But Sanders argued it would have debates on the Senate floor anyways, saying, quote, "Things happen when you go to the floor for votes." You know, I'm not sure why Republicans are against lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing for 100+ million Americans. And I don't understand that. You can let me know your thoughts in the comments, but I don't know if it's just the whole we don't want to give a win to Democrats thing. And remember, Democrats have done this in the past when Republicans were in control. So again, I'm not really choosing sides or anything like that. But I would think that this would be a bipartisan thing where lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing would be something that both sides of the aisle would want to do. You can let me know your thoughts on this here, but hopefully this is one thing. Again, there's multiple different things here going forward that we're trying to do here. Lowering the cost of prescription drug pricing. Remember, we pay more for prescription drugs than any other country in the world by a long shot, and it is something that needs reform. Also, check this out from Fatherly. Some parents are skipping meals to feed their children after the loss of the monthly payments to child tax credits. Yeah, this is, and this is where, we've seen those articles that, Senator Joe Manchin didn't want to pass the child tax credits, and that, quote, he was literally taking food out of children's mouths. And here it is. And, this isn't really what I said. This is what, some articles and some different publications said. Here it is. 3 in 4 parents who were polled said they were living with less financial security than when they had the tax credit. So 3 in 4 parents who were polled said they were living with less financial security than when they had the tax credit. Yeah, so remember that 60 million children are now no longer receiving that $250 to $300 per month per child payments that ended at the end of the year, December 31st. Yes, so now the January 15th payments and now the February 15th payments are going to be missed. February 15th here is right around the corner, and that's not going to go out either, because it's just, even if they passed it right now, there's just not enough time to send it out. So yeah, I mean, you see the headlines here. Some parents are skipping meals to feed their children after the loss of the child tax credits. Yeah, and it's just so sad to have to report this. 60 million children are no longer getting that money. Yeah, and remember that this passed the House. All the Democrats passed this, and literally 2 Democrats, Senator Joe Manchin and Kirsten Sinema, just were not willing to pass it at this time. Now the question is how do we get something like this passed here going forward? Joe Manchin said he has said in the past, and I've showed it here on my channel, I've always been for the child tax credits. I had that interview, or not an interview, but he said that in passing, kind of getting into a car. I'd have to go and dig it up to show it to you right there here at this moment. But I remember him saying that, but Joe Manchin, he kind of changes his mind at any given time, right? But then I also feel like we need something like this for low income. We need something like this for seniors on fixed income who are struggling here just as much. Remember that new report just came out that 63% of people are living paycheck to paycheck or even behind on bills. So, I mean, we think about the starving children, but we also think about starving Americans as well who need help here as well. So we also think about kind of an adult tax credit for starving individuals, people on disability, people on fixed income that live on $800 a month. And you got to think the average rent nowadays is $800 a month or more. So think about, you got to kind of think about that. Now, I did do a recent video here on the adult tax credit that can pay you $1,500 to $6,700. But there has been talk about in the going forward in one of these upcoming stimulus packages to make the adult tax credit, to expand it into monthly checks like they expanded the child tax credit. Okay, so remember that they took the child tax credit and they expanded it from $2,000 a year to monthly checks to $250 to $300 per month for children. Okay, And there has been a lot of talk and a lot of people to think that they should do that for low income. Of course, there'd be certain qualifications, and we don't know what those would be yet. But for people on disability, people on low income, people for seniors, people on fixed income, and to expand the adult tax credit into monthly payments as well, exactly like they did with the child tax credit. Okay. And I have a video showing you how the adult tax credit works. Right now, you can get $1,500 to $6,700, and I'll link you to that video and show at the end of this video. You can click on it and watch it, and show you how you get that money. If you haven't watched it yet, you definitely need to watch that. And but there's a lot of talk and push to, in the future, in one of these upcoming packages, potentially to expand that like they expanded the child tax credit. So again, call, email, and tweet your senators and your representatives, and that is something that we want to have happen here, and I will keep you up to date here on that as well. So yeah, let me know your thoughts on that here in this video. Remember that the child tax credit has been expanded multiple different times throughout the years. The child tax credit started off, I believe it's been going on for like 23 years or so. It started off at as low as like $400 way back in the day. It went up to like $500. Then it went up to like $1,000. Then former President Donald Trump actually increased it, and the Republicans increased it in the 2017 tax cuts, I believe. Yeah, I believe in that with the reconciliation process, actually, from $1,000 to $2,000. And then the Democrats, with the reconciliation process, increased it from $2,000 to $3,000 and $3,600 with the monthly checks. And now it's expired, so now it's kind of like in limbo, right? And 60 million children are like, we really need those monthly checks, right? And children are one of the most vulnerable sets of groups of people, because children can't work, and mom and dad are like, and everybody's situation is different, so you can't really put yourself in anybody's shoes. Who knows? Or even grandma and grandpa. Remember that millions of grandmas and grandpas actually raise the children. So you can't really put yourself in anybody's shoes, because who knows what anybody's situation is. They're disabled, they're low income, grandma and grandpa's raising them. Who knows? So I don't like to put myself in anybody's shoes. I just live my life by that recommendation. My mom raised me that if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say it at all. And I always go by that motto in life. I think it's a good motto, and that's why I live by this motto. That I see your guys' comments every single day, and I know that there are millions and millions and millions of people that are still in need right now during this pandemic. I mean, 63% of people are living paycheck to paycheck or are behind in bills right now and are struggling. So there's so many different groups of people: children, seniors, low income, people on disability, people living paycheck to paycheck or behind on paycheck, low income, that really need help right now. And you got to think that there's $800 billion in stimulus money that's already approved that they could send out right now with a stimulus check. And there's over 80 senators and lawmakers combined that are in favor of a fourth stimulus check. And we just need to get them together and say, hey, use this money to send it out and help out the people in need. Yeah, so let me know your thoughts here. I'll be a voice here for you guys every single day, putting out this message and letting you guys know about all the different stimulus programs that are coming out here on a daily and weekly basis, as well as everything going on here in our country. So if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, make sure to subscribe right now down below by clicking the subscribe button. It's completely free to do so, literally costs nothing. So click subscribe if you haven't yet. And new videos come out here every day at 10 a.m., 3 p.m., and 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. You can click here to watch our newest video next. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will see you in the next video.